This week, Ducati announced their second collaboration on a bike with the infamous Italian supercar manufacturer Lamborghini, and the results are pretty spectacular, I think it's fair to say. The first joint design project was the Diavol 1260 that they launched last year, based on the Cian FKP37, and I like that one a lot. Really nicely done, and it ties in with the paintwork and the wheels and the logos. But perhaps I would say it was a little understated, and so if you're a fan of the more garish side of motorcycle design and supercar culture, then this Streetfighter V4 limited edition really shouldn't disappoint. To say it's eye-catching would be a massive understatement, and so in this video we'll go over the 11 key things that make this bike so special. First up, the bike that it's based upon is the 2023 Ducati Streetfighter V4S. This is about as good as it gets when it comes to the super naked motorcycle market. The standout feature has to be the 1103cc Desmo Sedici Stradale V4 engine with a massive peak power of 208 horsepower, with many of the engine features and characteristics derived from their MotoGP program. The chassis is equally special, with a minimal front frame system that uses the V4 engine as the majority of its structure, resulting in a super lightweight yet rigid setup with a curb weight of just over 197 kilograms. Suspension, of course, is the creme de la creme, with an Olin Smart EC2 semi-active fork and shock that read the current road conditions and riding style to deliver optimal damping in real time. And braking is top draw too, courtesy of Brembo with their Stylema calipers on some nice big 330mm discs. It gets the absolute works from an electronics perspective, so launch control, wheelie control, all the lean sensitive rider aids and modes that you could ever need, and you even get a set of their carbon biplane winglets, again MotoGP derived, and they stabilize the bike at high speeds by adding a bit of extra downforce. So the question is, how do you make this bike even more special? Well, the answer, of course, is to mash it up with a supercar, and for this particular project, Ducati and Lamborghini chose the Huracan STO as their inspiration. Now, I'm not much of a car buff. All I can tell you about it really is that it looks super cool and really fast, and that's about all I know. But according to Ducati, it's the highest performing model ever made of the Huracan family, a super sports car created with the sole purpose of offering all the sensations of sports driving and the technology of a real racing car in a model approved for road use. An approach with light materials and functional design come together to express outright performance, so basically a race car for the road. Now, the first little nod to the Huracan on the Streetfighter V4S is the wheels. They're forged aluminium, so super lightweight, which of course will help with the handling. Not only does a reduction in rotating mass help with quicker changes of direction, but also less unsprung mass means the suspension can more easily perform its duties. But really, it's the visual design here that stands out, with a spoke pattern that closely matches the Lambo, and there's even a titanium locking nut on that single-sided rear wheel that's specific to this bike, and again, they match up nicely with the car. Elsewhere, the bodywork of the bike has been remodeled to resemble the Huracan more closely, designed at the Centro Stile Ducati, which is basically Italian for design center. So there's work being done on the front mudguard, the tank cover, belly pan and tail section, and there's even changes to the vents and air intakes to specifically match the car. In fact, they say that the mudguard is inspired by the air vents on the car, the extractors on the belly pan follow the same lines as the cooling intakes of the rear brakes, the vents on the side covers of the fuel tank recall the vents on the front fenders of the car, while the extractors on the single seat tail unit refer to those on the bonnet of the Lambo. It really does feel like a lot of attention to detail has gone into this limited edition, and that's most evident on the carbon that's used on the mudguard, belly pan, radiator cover, wings, tank cover and tail section, because what they've done there is matched up the exact same carbon texture that's also been used all over the car. In fact, they've even reworked the saddle to use the same highlights and patterns as the interior of the Huracan STO. Elsewhere, we've got a whole bunch of extra special components to give this bike a lift, so there are adjustable rider foot pegs and lighter brake and clutch levers, both in billet aluminium and produced in collaboration with Rizoma. Then you've got the heel guards, rods, the saddle pad, the dash cover, the ignition switch cover, and the sprocket cover, all made in that special carbon that matches up with the bodywork. And then even more of the same carbon is used as the heat shields and also the headlight support, the rear mudguard, and the rear subframe guards. Then to really finish things off and add a little bit of an extra bark, they've also fitted the Akropovich titanium silencer, and that gets a carbon end cap to tie it all together. But the big one, of course, is that paint job, a specific color combo taken from the Huracan STO, which they call Verde Citrea and Arancino DAC. You even get matching brake calipers that are painted in that Arancino DAC, and they've given them a contrasting black logo as opposed to the usual red Brembo logo. And then the Öhlins sport legs are being finished in black. Those would normally be gold on the Streetfighter V4S. So like I say, you have to admire the attention to detail, but I think this one in the green and red is going to be a little bit divisive. Personally, I like it, and I think that a special edition like this ought to look pretty special. But let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Now, I don't really know about gear that matches your bike. It looks a little bit much to me sometimes. I don't think it's something I'd do. Like, I wouldn't buy a Triumph jacket to match my Tiger 800. But in this scenario, this is really a collector's bike, and so maybe it's worth it on this occasion. You've got the option to buy matching leathers and a matching helmet. And yeah, while I probably wouldn't wear them out on the bike, I guess with the Streetfighter V4 on display in my mansion, I could probably put these on a mannequin next to it and it'd look like a little museum. Still, the chances of that absolute fabrication of the imagination happening are extremely slim. Firstly, because there's only going to be 630 of them being made worldwide. The name of the model and the specific serial number are going to be on a metal plate that's inserted into the central tank cover. And also you get the number etched into an aluminium insert on the key and a specific TFT startup screen to celebrate the union between Ducati and Lamborghini. Very, very nice, but then even more special than that, there'll be 63 bikes that are called Speciali Clienti. That's where the customer gets to work with the design center to paint the bike and choose wheels specifically to match their own Lamborghini. They can even choose a specific saddle design and brake caliper paint. That is mad. But yeah, probably more than the exclusivity, the main factor preventing me from snapping one of these up is the price. So £56,000, 56 grand. That's pretty unbelievable to me. I mean, it does look really quite incredible, but from a practical perspective, comparing it to the plain old V4S, it's hard to justify that extra cash. Way more than double, and so it's clearly one for the collectors, priced with exclusivity in mind. And so as always, I'd love to know what you think of it down in the comments below. Do you enjoy seeing these outrageously priced limited editions being put out purely for the spectacle, or does it just alienate you from the brand? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe and I'll catch you in the next one.